Shalom, family. What mark do you have? When we talk about the mark of the beast, people talk about the mark of the beast. Of course, this title, what mark do you have? People are not going to understand it when they see it. Most people that haven't dug deep into the scriptures. If you are the one that dug deep into the scripture, you know where it's coming from before I even say anything, because you've already read it in the scripture. But for those that still need to learn and still they haven't discovered all of the scripture yet, you haven't did all your research and all your study, you will find out there is a mark. The Most High have marked his people. Now, when people hear mark, the first thing they think of the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast is above Yahuwah's mark. All your churches and your camps, and most people know the mark. So-called mark, I'm going to call it a so-called mark of the beast. And they give you the number 666. Well, I told you there's something wrong with the book of Revelations. They did some things that, they added some things. They took some things out of the scripture. They knew of the prophets and what was written. They knew of a mark. But how is it? People talk more about this mark than the Most High's mark. You see, it's something wrong with that. The moment they mention mark, everybody's mind go to the mark of the beast. And here it is, Revelations 13, 16, and 17. He calls us all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark in their right hand or on their foreheads, and that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. And so this is where they're getting that from. You may not buy or sell. Now we have a problem with this. Number one, the prophets don't mention this. And this is the problem. There's no prophet that mentioned it. This never came from the mouth of the Father. And it will not work. How is it the rich can't buy or sell unless they have the mark? Let me tell you, the rich don't buy. They have servants. They don't buy anything. They would, if this was true, they would have their servants to have a mark, and they still, honestly, their servants are buying for them. They're getting what they want. So we know this is not true. The prophets does not mention this. The prophets mention no food. There will be no food. Famine. Remember, famine and death. We see famine and death all throughout the prophets. No one would be buying and selling. So this is 100% incorrect. But whoever wrote this, they knew of some scripture and they knew there's a mark. But the mark of the beast is magnified over the Father's mark. The Father will mark you also. Here it is, Genesis 4 and 15. And Yahuwah said to him, therefore, whoever kills Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And Yahuwah set a mark on Cain. Here is a mark. We don't talk much about this. What is this mark? He set a mark on Cain. The Most High has the ability to mark people. And he can mark you for righteousness, and you could be marked for death. Lest anyone finding him should kill him. What mark do you have? I'm not talking about no mark of the beast. This is not what the Most High is talking about. Not no mark of the beast. We're talking about Yahuwah's mark. What mark do you have? You're going to find out. You've been marked. You've been marked. You did not know it, but you've been marked. I know I've been marked. We've been marked. Ezekiel 9, 3 through 6. We read this in Ezekiel, him marking his people in the foreheads. So we see why Revelation is talking about a mark in their foreheads. He also mentioned the right hand, which no prophets mentioned that. But now the splendor of Yahuwah, the mighty one of Yasharah, had gone up from the cherub. He's gone up where it had been. See, when the people commit iniquity, the Most High is gone. He leaves. He can't stay around that mess. He come out himself. You know, he command us to come from among them, come out from them. See, we have to take on his nature. His nature is he can't be around iniquity. Remember what happens to people in the camp when they was in the camp. They had to do certain things to keep the camp Kadash. And if anybody had any type of fluid leaking out of them, they had to go away from the camp so the Most High could stay within this camp. So he was gone. He will leave wickedness where he had been before to the threshold of the house. And he called to the man clothed in linen, here we go, who had the writer's inkhorn at his side. What is he doing with a writer's inkhorn? This ink, when you jot something down, you're making marks. I just got finished explaining that to someone yesterday. When you write, you're making a mark. And so this is what the writer's inkhorn, this is what he's doing with it. He's ready to make some marks. And Yahuwah said to him, go through the midst of the city. We're talking about Jerusalem. Through the midst of Jerusalem and put a mark on the foreheads of the men who sigh and cry over all the abominations that are done within it. You see, our people don't sigh and cry over the abominations of today. And you know, today there is no house of the Most High. That wall where the Jewish people are, that's not the house. Yahushua said there will not be one stone left upon another. And so that's not the house. We know everything they changed. They moved. This is what the scripture says. They even moved his landmarks. We read they removed the landmarks. Yes. And they shrunk our borders. They shrunk our borders. And woe to those that's in Jordan. They shrunk our borders. The Most High going to deal with these people. So these men put a mark on those that sigh and cry over the abominations. Do the abominations you see that going on in the land where you are, does it make you sigh and cry, or you're used to it? You see, you get used to this mess. You're in it. When you're in it, take on the nature of the Most High. I got to come from out of here. I have to come from out. And the Most High leaves. And we have to remember that. When we leave out of these wicked lands, regardless of what anyone says, when we come from among them, that's the Most High's nature. That's the Most High's will for us to come from among them. You remember, Ezra said we should become as pilgrims upon the earth. And most of our people are not pilgrims. Pilgrims travel from a wicked, abominable land to a Kadash land. This is what the pilgrims do. And most of our people, they're just wallowing in iniquity, in abominations. It's like they speak about some of the things that go on, but it goes no further. They're in it. So these people, they feel for these abominations. These are the ones he putting a mark on. To the others, he said in my hearing, go after him through the city and kill. They got a word to go through the city and kill, and do not let your eyes spare, nor have any pity. Now, I would like to see some of our people do this, because we wouldn't be able to carry out this order. We would see young people. We would see babies. He want me to kill this baby? We would see elderly people. We would see people handicapped, on crutches, in wheelchairs. We would have pity. We say, I can't kill this old lady. He says, utterly slay old and young men, maidens, and little children and women. This is a command from the Most High. And it has to be carried out. It has to be carried out. We don't know the Most High. We got the Christian idea, the Christian mindset of the Most High. But this is who he is. He will destroy iniquity. This is how he cut it off. And anyone around it, he will cut them off also. But do not come near anyone on whom is the mark. Don't come near anyone that has this mark. And begin at my house, because this is where he is supposed to be. This is the center place. His house in Jerusalem, not your churches. He's not talking about this house. See, they messed our minds up. When they said judgment begins in my house, they start talking about their local churches. That's not his house. That's your house. You built that. These camps, that's not his house. His house is only in Jerusalem, and only the righteous that's dug into the scriptures and the Most High open our eyes and our ears to understand this fact. that his house are not these wicked church houses, not these wicked camps. It is not, he's not there. The enemy is there. Remember, the government has them. We understand this. The government has them. The Most High, they're not in his hand. He says, so they begin with the leaders who were before the house. See, the leaders are in the house taking care of things. He starts with the leaders. And this is where he brings his judgment. But our people are not sorrowful for what's going on, for iniquity. They're not sorrowful. And then when they see the righteous coming out and being, as 2nd Ezra says, becoming pilgrims on the earth, they talk against and about us. All right. This is Sons of Zadok. I'm on 9. I'm going to read 10 through 13. It says, and they that give heed unto him are the poor of the flock. Make sure you understand this. Our people said, he's not going to ask us to come out. We're poor. He knows this. We read it over and over all through scripture. I can't pull them all out. He's talking about you. You're the poor. You are his flock. These shall escape. You must believe this word. Don't believe a word that comes from any man's mouth, but believe the words that came from the mouth of the Father. These shall escape. Who? The poor of his flock. And we're going to escape in different ways. The Most High, he has different strategies for different families. All of our families are different. So there are different strategies for different families. He's going to give every family a strategy according to that family. Our strategy may be different than yours. Now, if your family is structured like my family, then our strategy is probably very, very similar. These shall escape during the period of the visitation. I told you, there is a visitation. There is a visitation. He visited his people. You don't think he's going to visit the wicked? There is a visitation coming. But the rest shall be handed over to the sword when the Mashiach comes from Aaron and Yasharal. We see this over and over. That the Mashiach, we know that there is a Mashiach. There is no doubt in our minds. There is no doubt in the righteous mind. There's a Mashiach. And this Mashiach is not the Mashiach that died and then still in Shaul waiting on judgment. Not that Mashiach. See, people are looking at that Mashiach. But that Mashiach won't be the Mashiach of the Mashiach. But there's one that came from Aaron and Yasharal. He came from this. The scripture is clear. He came from Aaron and Yasharal. And we know some of them other Mashiach, they didn't come from Aaron. So, the Most High gave me I have many people that's coming to the channel talking about the Mashiach. I'm going to make a point here. And I asked the Most High about this. And I asked the Most High concerning this situation. Because I know these people. I know where they're getting it from. They're getting this teaching. I saw this teaching when I was in the States. They're getting it from Babylonian teachers that will be caught up with the wicked and being destroyed. This is where they're getting this teaching from. Throw away all of the New Testament just because there are holes in it. Just because there's some things wrong about it. What about the things that line up? You see, they want to throw that away too. It lines up. But I asked the Most High about this. And I told the Father, I have a witness. I have a witness to the Mashiach. I said, but I only have one witness. And I know your word said, out the mouth of 2 to 3 witnesses, let every word be established. My first witness, and I'm probably going to go into this maybe in another video. My first witness, we have a witness. Josephus. He is our witness. And I told the Father, Josephus is our witness. I don't have another witness. I need another witness. And he said, you are another witness. And it blew my mind. And immediately I knew what he's talking about. And I will bring that out. And he says, you are a witness. And I can witness to Yahusha being real. I can witness to Yahusha. You know, they're saying it's fabricated. It's all made up. It's not true. Well, these men are far from the Most High. And these men will be in trouble on the day of judgment.